The Deathworld exchange student Maya.
Chun stepped off the transport shuttle and gazed in wonder at the massive space station floating before her. Harmony Station Academy stretched out like a small city, its curved walls covered in bioluminescent panels that pulsed with soft blue and green light. The 16-year-old human clutched her worn backpack tighter as she walked through the docking bay, trying not to stare at the incredible variety of alien beings moving around her. A tall, elegant creature with silver skin and 4 arms approached her. Its voice was melodic, like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. Welcome to Harmony Station Academy. Maya Chun. I am Administrator Zilara. We are honored to have our first human student. Maya smiled brightly. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. This place is amazing. Her enthusiasm seemed to make Zilara step back slightly, though Maya didn't notice. The human girl was too busy looking around at the incredible architecture and the dozens of different alien species walking past. They made their way through corridors filled with students who stopped to stare at Maya. She waved cheerfully at everyone, not realizing that most of them were backing away in what looked like fear. A group of crystalline beings started glowing brighter when she approached, and several furry creatures with multiple eyes quickly scurried away down a side corridor. The Academy educates young beings from 47 different worlds, Zilara explained, as they walked. Each species brings their unique perspectives and abilities to our learning community. That's wonderful, Maya said. Back on Earth, I went to a school with about 800 students, but they were all human. This is so much more interesting. Zilara paused. 800 individuals in one location? That seems unusually crowded, Mia laughed. Oh, that's nothing. My city has about 2 million people. During rush hour, the subway trains are packed with thousands of commuters. It gets pretty crazy sometimes. The administrator's silver skin seemed to pale further. Millions of your species in one location? How do you manage resource distribution? Territorial conflicts? We just make it work, Maya said with a shrug. Humans are pretty adaptable. We can live almost anywhere. Deserts, mountains, Arctic regions, tropical islands. My family goes camping in the wilderness every summer. It's fun sleeping under the stars with just a tent between you and whatever's out there. Zilara made a note on her datapad with trembling hands. They arrived at the principal's office, where a large insectoid being waited behind a desk made from what looked like crystallized energy. Principal Thylex had a chitinous exoskeleton that gleamed green, and gold with compound eyes that could focus in multiple directions simultaneously. Ah, the human student, Principal Thylex said, his voice creating a slight buzzing sound. Please, sit down. We need to discuss some safety protocols. Maya settled into the chair, which automatically adjusted to her physiology. Safety protocols? Well, Principal Thylex began carefully. Our research indicates that your species originates from what we classify as a Class 10 death world. The reports we received were quite concerning. Earth can be a bit challenging, Maya admitted. But it's not that bad once you get used to it. I mean, sure, we have hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, tsunamis, blizzards, and droughts, plus all the predators, lions, tigers, bears, sharks, crocodiles, venomous snakes, poisonous spiders. 2 maintenance workers who were cleaning nearby collapsed onto the floor. Principal Thylex quickly summoned medical assistance while Maya continued talking. But humans have learned to deal with all that stuff. We climb mountains that are so tall you can't breathe properly. We swim in oceans with creatures that can swallow you whole. We live in places where the temperature can kill you in minutes. It's really helped us become resourceful. Resourceful, Principal Thylex repeated weakly. Yes, that is one way to describe it. Administrator Zilara was frantically updating her datapad. Maya, when you say learn to deal with these hazards, what exactly do you mean? Oh, the usual stuff. We make tools, build shelters, develop techniques for surviving in extreme conditions. My little brother Tommy is only 12, but he can start a fire with just sticks and dry leaves. Last month, our family went hiking in the mountains and got caught in a sudden snowstorm. We had to build an emergency shelter and wait it out for 3 days. You were trapped for 3 days in a freezing environment? Zalara asked, her voice barely above a whisper. It wasn't too bad, Maya said cheerfully. We had enough food, and Tommy and I took turns keeping watch for predators. Mountain cats are pretty common in that area, and there were fresh bear tracks. Near our campsite, Principal Thylex made another note. Maya, I think there may have been some miscommunication in your application materials. When you listed your hobbies as rock climbing and swimming, we assumed these were recreational. Activities conducted in safe, controlled environments. They are recreational, Maya laughed. I love rock climbing. There's this cliff face near my house that's about 200 feet high. The rocks are really crumbly in some spots, so you have to be careful not to fall. And swimming is great exercise, especially in the ocean. You have to watch out for riptides and jellyfish, but the water is so refreshing. Several alien students had gathered outside the office, pressing their faces against the transparent walls to get a better look at the human. Maya noticed them and waved enthusiastically. The group immediately scattered, though she could hear excited chattering in multiple alien languages as they rushed away. Maya, Principal Thylex said slowly, perhaps we should discuss your academic background. What subjects did you excel in at your previous school? I really enjoyed biology and chemistry, Maya said. We got to dissect frogs and work with some interesting chemical compounds. Safety was always important, of course. We learned about all the different ways chemicals can hurt you. Explosions, toxic fumes, acid burns, that sort of thing. Acid burns? Zalara squeaked. Oh, yes. Hydrochloric acid can cause severe tissue damage. And sulfuric acid can literally dissolve organic matter. But as long as you wear proper protective equipment and know what you're doing, it's perfectly safe. To work with, Principal Thylex was starting to develop a nervous twitch in his left antenna. What about physical education? Did you participate in sports? Maya's eyes lit up. I love sports. I was on the cross-country running team. We'd run for miles through forests and over hills, no matter what the weather was like. Rain, snow, heat, it didn't matter. I also did martial arts, karate and judo. My sensei taught us how to break boards with our bare hands and throw opponents twice our size. Break boards with bare hands. Principal Thylex repeated slowly. Sure, it's all about technique and focus. Want me to show you? Maya started to stand up, but both aliens immediately gestured for her to remain seated. That won't be necessary. Zalara said quickly, perhaps we should discuss your schedule. You will be taking standard courses in mathematics, galactic history, xenobiology, and communications. We've also enrolled you in physical education with Coach Grimmock. Physical education sounds great, Maya said. I've been sitting in that transport shuttle for 3 days. I'm really looking forward to getting some exercise. Principal Thylex and Administrator Zalara exchanged worried glances. They had been dreading this part of the conversation. Maya, Principal Thylex said carefully, Coach Grimmock comes from a warrior culture. His species, the Crothans, are known throughout the galaxy for their physical prowess. They are considered some of the strongest beings in known space. That's awesome, Maya said. I love a good challenge. Back home, I used to work out with my older cousin, Marcus. He's in the military and he's incredibly strong. He taught me some great exercises. Military? Zalara asked faintly. Yeah, Marcus is a Marine. He's been deployed to some pretty dangerous places. He always says that physical fitness can mean the difference between life and death in combat situations. Combat situations. Principal, Thylex repeated. Yes, of course. Maya, I think we should have Coach Grimmock meet with you before your first class. Just to assess your capabilities. As if summoned by their conversation, the office door chimed. A massive figure entered. Coach Grimmock stood nearly 8 feet tall, with muscles that looked like they could bench press a small vehicle. His skin was a deep purple color, with natural armor plating along his arms and chest. His face was humanoid, but with pronounced ridges above his eyes and small horns protruding from his forehead. Principal Thylex, Grimmack said in a voice like rumbling thunder. Is this the human student? Yes, Coach Grimmack. This is Maya Chen. Maya stood up and extended her hand. Nice to meet you, Coach. I'm really excited for gym class. Grimmack looked at the small human girl with obvious confusion. She barely reached his chest, and her arms looked like thin sticks compared to his massive limbs. This is the creature from the deadly world. I prefer to think of Earth as challenging, Maya said with a grin. But yes, I'm from Earth. Grimmack leaned down to study her more closely. You appear quite small and fragile. Are you certain? You are fully grown? I am 16, which is pretty typical for my species at this stage of development. I won't reach full adult size for another few years. You will grow larger? Grimmack asked, sounding concerned. A little bit, maybe. But not much. Humans come in different sizes, but we're all relatively small compared to other predators on our world. Other predators? Grimmack's voice had gotten quieter. You consider yourself a predator? Maya shrugged. Well, humans are omnivores, which means we eat both plants and meat. We're pretty good hunters when we need to be. Our ancestors used to. Hunt woolly mammoths, huge creatures that were 10 times our size. We made up for our smaller size with intelligence, teamwork, and persistence. Persistence hunting, she continued, warming to the topic. Humans can run for hours without stopping. We'd chase prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. Not very sporting, but effective. Coach Grimmack straightened up slowly. You hunted creatures 10 times your size through persistence. Ancient humans did, yes. We don't hunt mammoths anymore. They're extinct. But humans still do persistence hunting in some parts of the world. There are tribes who can run down antelopes and other fast animals just by outlasting them. Principal. Thylex made another note on his datapad. Maya, what do you typically do for exercise? Oh, the usual stuff. I run about 5 miles every morning before school. Sometimes I'll do sprints up the hill by house. It's pretty steep, but it's great for building leg strength. I also do calisthenics, push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, jumping jacks. And I love swimming laps in the pool. How many push-ups can you do? Coach Grimmack asked. Maya thought for a moment. My personal best is 87 in a row, but I could probably do more if I really pushed myself. I usually stop around 50 because I don't want to overdo it. The office had gone completely silent. Coach Grimmack was staring at Maya with what could only be described as amazement mixed with fear. 87 repetitions, he said slowly, without stopping. Yeah, it's not too bad. My cousin Marcus can do over 200, but he's been training for years. 200, Grimmack whispered. Miayo? Principal Thylex interrupted. I think we should introduce you to some of your classmates before tomorrow's physical education class. It might help them ... prepare. They left the office and walked through the corridors of the academy. Maya continued to wave at the other students, who responded with what she interpreted as excitement but was actually barely controlled panic. Word of the humans' arrival had spread quickly through the student body, and everywhere they went, small crowds gathered to watch from a safe distance. That's a Valaxian, Administrator Zalora said, pointing to a graceful being with flowing silvery tendrils instead of hair. They're known for their agility and quick reflexes. Cool. Maya said, I'd love to see how fast they can move. I'm always interested in different types of athletic ability. The Valaxian student overheard this comment and immediately fainted, crashing to the floor in a heap of silvery limbs. Perhaps, Principal Thylex suggested as medical personnel arrived, to help the unconscious student, we should continue this tour tomorrow. Maya, your dormitory room is ready, and you'll find your class schedule on your personal datapad. As they walked toward the residential section of the academy, Maya couldn't help but notice how quiet the corridors had become. Students were peering out from behind doorways and ducking into alcoves to avoid being seen. "Is everything okay?" she asked. "Everyone seems a bit nervous." "They're just excited to meet you," Dolores said diplomatically. "It's every day we have a student from. Such a unique world." Maya's dormitory room was spacious and comfortable, with a large window that showed the stars spinning slowly past as the station rotated. She set down her backpack and looked around at the alien furniture, which adjusted itself to accommodate her human physiology. "Thank you for everything," she said to her guides. "I can't wait to start classes tomorrow." Principal Thylex and Administrator Zilara exchanged one final worried glance before leaving Maya alone in her room. As soon as the door closed, they could hear her doing what sounded like jumping jacks. "We may have made a terrible mistake," Principal Thylex said quietly. "Perhaps we should contact the Academy's insurance provider," Zilara suggested. "I have a feeling we're going to need it." Meanwhile, throughout the Academy, alien students were gathering in small groups, sharing rumors and fears about the human student. The crystalline Albarians were glowing with anxiety. The Verdani tree-like beings were dropping leaves everywhere. Even the proud Zephyrian flyers were perched high on the walls, as far from the ground as possible. Coach Grimmack stood in his office, staring at the standard physical education equipment that had seemed so challenging just hours ago. Somehow, he had a feeling that tomorrow's class was going to be unlike anything he had experienced in his 20 years of teaching. In her room, Maya Chen finished her evening workout routine and prepared for bed, completely unaware that her presence had already begun to change everything at Harmony Station Academy. Tomorrow's gym class would either be the most memorable in the school's history or the last one they ever held. She fell asleep with a smile on her face, dreaming of the new friends she would make and the adventures that awaited her in this amazing place among the stars. The gym class that shook the galaxy, Maya, woke up at 5:30 a.m., just like she did every morning back on Earth. She quickly changed into her workout clothes, simple shorts, a t-shirt, and running shoes that had seen thousands of miles. As she laced up her sneakers, she could hear the soft hum of the station's life support systems and the distant sounds of early morning activity. She opened her door and stepped into the corridor, planning to find a place to do her morning run. The hallways of Harmony Station Academy were wide and curved, following the circular design of the rotating space station. Perfect for a jog, Maya thought. She started running at an easy pace, her footsteps creating a steady rhythm on the metal flooring. What she didn't realize was that the sound was carrying throughout the residential section of the academy through the acoustic systems designed to help aliens with sensitive hearing communicate across long distances in their dormitory rooms. Alien students began waking up to what sounded like thunder rolling through the hallways. Krex, a young Radani whose room was closest to the corridor, poked his leafy head out of his door just in time to see Maya running past. She waved cheerfully at him as she jogged by, her breathing steady and her pace consistent. Krex quickly calculated the distance she had already covered based on the time the sounds had been going on. His bark-like skin turned pale green with shock. This human had been running for over 30 minutes without stopping or even breathing hard. Within an hour, news of the human's morning exercise routine had spread throughout the academy. Students gathered in small groups, sharing sensor readings and trying to understand what they had witnessed. The data was clear but seemed impossible. The human female had run a distance equivalent to 8 kilometers at a pace that would exhaust most galactic species within the first few hundred meters. Coach Grimmack arrived at the gymnasium earlier than usual that morning. He had spent most of the night reviewing safety protocols and medical emergency procedures. The Academy's medical staff had been briefed and additional personnel were on standby. Emergency containment fields had been tested. Even the Academy's structural engineers had been consulted to ensure the gymnasium could handle whatever was about to happen. The gymnasium was a marvel of intergalactic engineering. It could adjust its gravity, atmosphere, and even its physical dimensions to accommodate the needs of different species. Specialized equipment had been designed to challenge beings from dozens of different worlds, each with their own unique physical capabilities and limitations. Students began arriving for first period physical education class. They moved cautiously, staying in tight groups and maintaining a respectful distance from the section of the gym where the human would be exercising. The crystalline Elbarians had positioned themselves near the emergency exits. The aquatic Delarians were staying close to their water stations. Even the confident Draconian students seemed unusually subdued. With Zix, a young Zephyrian with impressive silver wings, had claimed a perch high up on the gymnasium wall. His species were natural flyers, proud of their aerial abilities and superior reflexes. I still don't understand what everyone is worried about, he said to his friend Kess, a draconian female with scales that gleamed like polished metal. She's so small. How dangerous could one tiny human possibly be? Kess flexed her claws nervously. My family has trading contracts with several worlds that have been contacted by humans. The stories they tell. Kess, humans once fought wars where millions of their own species died, and they kept fighting. Anyway, that's just rumor and speculation, Zix replied, though his wings trembled slightly. Besides, this is just a gym class. What's the worst that could happen? At exactly 9 a.m., the gymnasium doors opened, and Maya Chun walked in. She looked around with obvious delight at the incredible facility, her eyes taking in the advanced equipment and the unusual architecture. The other students fell silent, watching her every movement. Good morning, everyone, Maya called out cheerfully. This place is amazing. I've never seen a gym like this before. Coach Grimmick stepped forward, his massive form towering over the human student. Good morning, Maya-chan. Today we will begin with basic physical assessments to understand your capabilities and limitations. Sounds great, Coach, Maya said, beginning to stretch her arms and legs. Her stretching routine looked innocent enough, but several alien students gasped when she bent her spine in ways that would require medical intervention for most species. She casually placed her palms flat on the floor while keeping her legs straight, then twisted her torso to look back at the class with a smile. Is everyone okay? She asked, noticing the shocked expressions around her. You all look a little pale. We are fine, Coach Grimmick said slowly. Maya, we will begin with a simple warm-up exercise. Please perform jumping movements for a duration of 1 minute. Maya nodded and got into position. Just 1 minute? Okay, but that's not much of a warm-up. She began doing jumping jacks, and immediately the gymnasium's seismic sensors began registering impacts. Each time Maya's feet hit the floor, a specialized, shock-absorbing surface that could handle a charging Rhinus warrior compressed significantly. The sound echoed through the vast space like controlled explosions. The alien students stared in horrified fascination. Maya's movements were perfectly coordinated, each jump identical to the last. Her breathing remained steady and controlled. After 30 seconds, when most galactic species would be showing signs of fatigue, she looked like she was just getting started. How are we doing, Coach? Miaya called out cheerfully while continuing her exercise. Should I pick up the pace? No. Coach Grimmick shouted, perhaps a bit too quickly. Maintain your current ... intensity. When the minute was up, Maya stopped and began walking in small circles, cooling down from what she clearly considered a very light warm-up exercise. She wasn't even breathing hard. What would you like me to do next? She asked. Coach Grimmick consulted his datapad, where he had carefully planned a series of progressively challenging exercises. His plan was now completely useless. Let us try strength assessment. Please perform push-up exercises until you reach fatigue. Mia dropped to the floor and assumed the push-up position. Her form was textbook perfect. Straight back, proper hand placement, controlled movement. She began the exercise at a steady pace that immediately drew gasps from the watching students. Up, down, up, down. Maya's rhythm was like a metronome, never varying, never slowing. The other students began counting along, their voices getting progressively more amazed as the numbers climbed higher. 20-5 dot 20-6 dot 20-7 dot. Tex, a young Verdani who was considered strong for his species, had collapsed after just 5 push-ups during his last assessment. He watched in disbelief as Maya passed 30, then 40, then 50 repetitions without showing any signs of strain. 60-1 dot 60-2 dot. Kess, the draconian student, was known for her physical prowess among her classmates. Her personal best was 12 push-ups. She watched Maya pass 70 with growing horror. Double quotes 70-8 dot 80. Maya reached her personal best of 87 and decided to see if she could push a little further. 80-8 dot 80-9 dot 90 dot. At 95 repetitions, she finally slowed down. Okay, I think that's probably enough, she said, springing to her feet in one fluid motion. I don't want to overdo it on my first day. The gymnasium was completely silent, except for the sound of several students hyperventilating. Coach Grimmick was staring at his datapad, where the sensors had recorded impact data that seemed impossible for a being of Maya's size and apparent muscle mass. Maya, he said carefully, do you consider that a typical performance for your species? Oh no, Maya said, stretching her arms above her head. I'm probably about average for someone my age who stays in decent shape. There are kids in my school who could do way more than that. My friend Jessica is on the gymnastics team, and she's incredibly strong. A crystalline Albarian named Bright began glowing rapidly, which was their species' equivalent of hyperventilating. 2 medical technicians quickly moved to assist as his light patterns became dangerously erratic. Perhaps, Coach Grimmick suggested, we should move on to agility testing. He activated a holographic obstacle course that materialized in the center of the gymnasium. It was a standard course designed to challenge quick reflexes and coordination. Students were expected to navigate through it slowly and carefully, taking time to assess each obstacle before proceeding. Maya looked at the course with interest. This looks fun. It reminds me of the obstacle races we used to do in gym class. Back home, should I wait for a start signal, or can I go ahead? Please proceed when ready, Coach Grimmick said. Maya approached the first obstacle, a series of barriers that students were meant to carefully climb over. Instead, she simply vaulted over them in smooth, flowing movements that looked almost effortless. Her feet barely touched the top of each barrier before she was flying over the next one. The watching students stood in stunned silence as Maya flowed through the obstacle course like water moving downhill. Where they would have carefully climbed, she jumped. Where they would have slowly crawled, she rolled and tumbled with perfect control. Where they would have cautiously balanced, she ran across narrow beams like they were sidewalks. She completed the entire course in under 30 seconds, a time that shattered the Academy's previous record by more than 2 minutes. That was great, Maya said, barely breathing hard as she returned to the group. The balance beam section reminded me of this hiking trail back home where you have to cross fallen logs over a river. If you fall, you get swept away by the current, so you learn to be pretty careful with your footing. Swept away by current, Coach Grimmick repeated slowly. And this is recreational activity. Oh, sure. Hiking is really popular where I come from. There are trails that go through mountains, across deserts, through forests full of bears and wolves. My family went to a backpacking trip last summer, where we had to carry everything we needed on our backs and sleep on the ground every night. You slept on the ground, Zix whispered from his perch on the wall. Voluntarily. Well, we had sleeping bags and tents, Maya said. Though sometimes we'd just sleep under the stars if the weather was nice. You have to be a little careful about wildlife. We saw mountain lion tracks near our campsite one night. But as long as you follow basic safety precautions, it's perfectly safe. Several more students required medical attention. The Academy's emergency medical team was starting to run out of revival stimulants. Maya, Coach Grimmick said, perhaps you could demonstrate some of the physical activities popular among your people. Sure, Maya said enthusiastically. Back home, I really enjoy martial arts. I've been studying karate for about 6 years now. She moved to an open area of the gymnasium and began performing a kata, a choreographed sequence of martial arts. Movements to the watching aliens, it looked like she was fighting invisible opponents with lethal efficiency. Her hands moved in precise strikes that cut through the air with audible whooshing sounds. Her kicks were high and powerful, her balance perfect. This represents combat training from your world. Coach Grimmick asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Training, yes, but it's also a form of meditation and exercise, Maya explained as. She finished the sequence. Karate teaches discipline, respect, and self-control. We only use it for self-defense or in organized competitions. Self-defense against what? Cass asked, though she immediately looked like she regretted the question. Oh, you know the usual stuff? Other humans, mostly, though sometimes you might encounter aggressive wildlife. My sensei taught us that the best self-defense is avoiding dangerous situations in the first place. What situations do you consider dangerous? Zix called down from his wall perch. Maya thought for a moment. Walking alone at night in certain parts of the city. Swimming in areas with strong currents or dangerous marine life. Hiking alone in wilderness areas where there are large predators. Rock climbing without proper safety equipment. That sort of thing. The list of casual dangers that humans faced on a regular basis was met with complete silence from the alien students. Several of them were making notes on their data pads, possibly to warn their families back home. Maya, Coach Grimmick said, I believe we have assessed your capabilities sufficiently for today. Perhaps tomorrow we can focus on less intensive activities. Are you sure? Maya asked. I feel like I'm just getting warmed up. I haven't even done any cardio yet, and we didn't test flexibility or endurance. Perhaps another time, the coach said quickly. Class is dismissed for today. As the students began filing out of the gymnasium, Maya could hear them talking in hushed tones. She caught fragments of conversation in various alien languages, though. The universal translators made it clear that they were discussing her performance with what sounded like a mixture of awe and terror. Did you see the way she moved through the obstacle course? Those impact readings from her jumping exercises, ... And she said that was just average for her species, ... I'm sending a message to my parents tonight. They need to know about this. Maya walked over to Coach Grimmick, who was still staring at his datapad in apparent shock. Thank you for the class, Coach, she said cheerfully. I really enjoyed it. Tomorrow, maybe we could try some team sports? I love basketball and soccer. Or we could do distance running. I'd love to see how your track compares to the ones back home. Coach Grimmick looked up at the small human girl, who had just completely redefined what he thought was possible in terms of physical performance. Maya, he said slowly, I may need to adjust the curriculum to better accommodate your unique abilities. That's very considerate, Maya said with a smile. But you don't need to make any special accommodations for me. I'm here to learn alongside everyone else. As Mia left the gymnasium, Coach Grimmick immediately activated his emergency communication system. Principal Thylex, he said when the connection was established, we need to talk immediately. Meanwhile, news of Mia's performance in gym class was spreading throughout the academy at light speed. Students were contacting their families on distant worlds, sharing videos and sensor data from the gymnasium. Within hours, the story of the human exchange student would be transmitted across the galaxy, reaching the highest levels of interstellar government and military organizations. Maya, completely unaware of the panic she was causing, returned to her dormitory room to shower, prepare for her next class. She was looking forward to galactic history, where she hoped to learn more about the fascinating civilizations that made up the interstellar community. She was now a part of Dot in her shower. She practiced some vocal exercises, singing a cheerful song she remembered from Earth. Her voice echoed through the acoustic systems of the residential section, reaching the ears of alien students who were still trying to process what they had witnessed in the gymnasium. The song was beautiful and melodic, but somehow even Maya's casual singing seemed to contain an undertone of the power and resilience that had shocked everyone during gym class. The alien students listened to the sound echoing through their halls and realized that everything they thought they knew about the galaxy had just changed forever. By the end of the day, Maya Chen had become the most famous student in the academies. 300-year history. And tomorrow, she had xenobiology class, where she was planning to share some interesting facts about Earth's ecosystem with her new classmates. The galaxy would never be quite the same.